this psychologist, doing what he was doing, maybe he was showing me something else. Like maybe he was relating it to out of body experiences. So I'm thinking, okay, well, is this like some apparitional, phantom form that's there moving through the wall or something?
Well, yeah, that's actually an important distinction, because at least when I was first learning about the remote viewing, I confused the two. I thought that remote viewing was like an out of body thing, and it's not. It's, if you could just very quickly say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that people think remote viewing is. And I mean, after the publication of my book on the subject, it was the first exposure of this military intelligence collection tool to the world, and it was the first exposure to relating it and linking it to CIA, the DIA, Directorate of Technology and Science. And I did that for a specific purpose. There was a definite decision process that I went through in 1993 when I decided to write the book. You tell me when you would want me to talk about that, but when I put that forward, suddenly the term remote viewing, because it did lend a degree of credibility, because despite the detractors, there were all sorts of articles in Washington Post and everywhere else talking about what it did, what it didn't do, but what it did. You had people like Jessica Utz, a PhD physicist, doing an analysis on what the CIA released to her. That's out there online, and she came back and said, "This is well beyond chance. This is quite, this is quite amazing, and it cannot be dismissed." Even Joe Nichols, who is one of the guys that formed PsyCop, which is this, I can't remember what PsyCop is. It's something that has something to do with these are guys that attack anybody that's working in the realm of psychic phenomena or something else. And these guys, let me see, came back and said, Joe Nichols, after reviewing exactly what Jessica Utz reviewed, came back and said the same. He would not say, okay, well, this changes my perspective on this stuff. No, what he did was he came back and he looked at it and he said, okay. He goes, it is completely outside the realm of any of the things that I would normally be able to see and dispute or disprove or anything else in the realm of what I do. So clearly the data sets that they have produced warrant consideration and cannot be dismissed. Basically what Jessica Utz said. That was Joe Nichols, who has a PhD in psychology from, I think, Harvard or Johns Hopkins, but he used to be a stage magician, as many of the guys in PsyCops did, which is a flaw in their process, because their process of debunking, anything that anybody does in that realm says, well, if I can develop a trick, an illusion,
it replicates it
to duplicate what you're doing, then what you're doing must be an illusion. That's flawed thinking, right? That's absolutely flawed thinking, because just because something can be duplicated, I mean, Hollywood can duplicate anything, right? So it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist elsewhere in reality. But that's their thinking. And Joe Nichols was stumped. He couldn't turn around and just dismiss the remote viewing program. So again, after the book Psychic Warrior gets released, everybody is looking for they think, okay, remote viewing, CIA, all this stuff, it gives them a degree of now a foundational credibility they can stand on if they use that term. And it happened. So remote viewing now became like this overarching umbrella where somebody who was, doing, energy medicine or, shaman, people doing ayahuasca trips, you name it, sixth sense, present, anything, intuitism, intuition. Everybody was, you had people stepping up and go, well, yeah, I'm a, trans medium and a remote viewer. What?
Right.
So everybody was using it, even people that were just genuinely, let's say, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. Those things are real things that happen under the umbrella of ESP or spiritual phenomena or psychic phenomena, whatever you want to put it, paranormal phenomena. Those are large umbrella terms under which all these other things exist. Actually, there are 72 other things. One of those 72 other things is remote viewing. Remote viewing is not up at the top. It doesn't cover all the rest. It is a specific dogma, a deliberate dogma that must be followed, a protocol with rules that guide you through the protocol. It requires, the process of detecting, decoding, and objectifying. There are rules that define how you do what you're doing, and it has a dedicated lexicon that's applied to it. So, and it was born in science, built in science, applied as a military intelligence collection tool for decades, and still is being used today, because they certainly did not shut down this program and the capability and everything that was going on in 20 years of research at SRI International. They certainly didn't shut all that down because one guy wrote a book to expose it, right?
But they tried to discredit it too, though. Like the CIA tried to say, well, its success rate was lower than it's not. It's good. Yeah, which
after 35 years of use to turn around and start dismissing it as worthless to you, it was pretty funny, especially since you had guys in the CIA, which I can quote for you, that were basically turning around and going, if you're ignoring this as a capability, you're basically pretty stupid. This is really amazing. I mean, they're like spot on with stuff. There's one of my former colleagues throws around a letter that came out of somewhere in the Department of the Army, out of the Pentagon, where somebody ran a test trying to determine, they thought a good test for this would be to prove that remote viewers could not determine which missile silo actually had intercontinental ballistic missiles in them. Because as you know, they move them around, right? So there may be empty silos and then there's a silo with a weapon in it. And in the test, in the memorandum that is there, the remote viewers found it 100% of the time. They found where the rockets were. And so everybody was like, okay. And then you have guys like Stansfield Turner, who, former director of the CIA, turned around and said, as it was being developed, right? I don't care if it's 6% accurate. I don't care if it's 6% accurate. If it's 6% accurate information that I cannot glean by any other intelligence collection asset, it's intelligence dollars well spent. But it was far greater than that, as you found out, as everybody that investigated it found out. But
it was at least 10 times that, right? 60% of the time, at least. Right?
I mean, viewers can sometimes be upwards in the 80s and sometimes in the 90 percentile in looking at a particular target. But every viewer has different modalities of perception. In other words, strengths and weaknesses and how they.
But by the way, the most successful stock pickers are 60%.
Yeah.
Like world class, but sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I mean, it brings up an excellent point. I mean,
if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like, subscribe, and notification buttons. Additionally, if you have any feedback, please put something in the comments below. And lastly, if you want to watch the full episode of this clip, you can find it above. Thanks again for watching.